Now what? The Republican presidential race is like a demolition derby. The last one standing wins. On Health Watch, how a surgeon spread a destructive disease that the rest of us should know. Tonight, the fleecing of America. Why does the military pay so much for routine shipping? Your money, their excess. Finally, the divorce. But already, Prince Charles and Diana are squabbling over the terms.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Well, now Steve Forbes can claim he's the front runner in this mad scramble for the Republican presidential nomination. With his surprisingly strong Arizona victory, he now has more delegates than Pat Buchanan or Bob Dole. But South Carolina is just 2 days away, and Dole is confident. Buchanan is planning another ambush, and Lamar Alexander hopes to get back on the screen. NBC's Lisa Myers tonight on the field and how Forbes will try to capitalize on his win.
It cost him $40 a vote, but today Steve Forbes and his checkbook are back in the race and sitting atop the biggest pile of delegates.
I don't know who will emerge as my opponents in the contests ahead, but I'm in for the duration.
That's bad news for Dole, who prefers to look at the race differently.
Oh, let's see. I've beaten Forbes 4 out of 6, Buchanan 5 out of 6, and Alexander 6 out of 6.
Still, alarmed over his weak showing so far, the Dole campaign today shifted strategy for the second time in a week. No more negative ads. The new focus, make the positive case for Dole and try again to lay out his vision for the country.
I want to sell Bob Dole. We have a very strong message about the future of America, and about our children, our grandchildren, about a balanced budget, about tax cuts for families with children, about less regulation.
Dole strategists concede he must win in South Carolina Saturday. This afternoon, the battle there was joined, Dole and a who's who of the establishment defending free trade against Buchanan's grassroots insurrection. Though he hit a big speed bump last night in the primary roller derby, Buchanan's counting on the religious right, down-and-out textile workers, and disaffected Democrats to rally behind him.
We're going to put a spotlight on the people who've been left out. We're going to put a spotlight on the people that lose when these trade deals are cut by Beltway Bob, the bellhop of the Business Roundtable.
One big unknown here, Lamar Alexander, who should be in more friendly territory as primaries move south.
Where do I vote?
Ever the optimist, today he voted absentee in the Tennessee primary 2 weeks from now, though he may not have the money to hold on that long. Suddenly, money also is a problem for Dole. Because of spending limits, Dole now has only about $6 million left to spend on all 43 remaining primaries and caucuses. Forbes spent $4 million in Arizona alone. So for the next critical 2 weeks, Forbes has the money, Buchanan the passion, and Dole the party establishment.
Vote for Bob Dole.
And what's left of his sense of humor. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
Tonight, a little perspective on all of this in the heat of the primary battles. How many Americans have actually voted so far? A grand total of 802,310 votes have been cast in all the Republican contests. That means fewer than 3 out of 100 Americans have actually had a say. And how are the candidates doing? Bob Dole's got the most votes, nearly 250,000, even if he doesn't have the most delegates. That's 31%. Pat Buchanan's next with 208,000, 26%. Steve Forbes, 178,000 votes, 22%. Lamar Alexander, just over 100,000 for 13%. The rest went to the rest of the field, and that included 2,500 votes for none of the above. There was another Republican skirmish today. 2 leaders who are not running for president took a hard shot at one who is. Bill Bennett, who is supporting Lamar Alexander, and Jack Kemp slammed Pat Buchanan's hard line on immigration. They cited Buchanan's proposals to stop all legal immigration for 5 years and the building of a high border wall to stop illegal immigrants.
About these things. This really is a stinking, rotten attitude about immigrants. This idea from him and other children of immigrants, grandchildren of immigrants, is grossly hypocritical and ungrateful.
The Republican Party had better be awfully careful at this moment when it has the possibility and the potential of reaching out to men and women of color and minority status in America.
Pat Buchanan on the campaign trail tonight responded calling Bennett, quote, a beltway blowhard. When we come back, NBC News in depth tonight, The television network chiefs get ready for a White House summit meeting on television violence. Is the V-chip the answer?
If I don't want him to watch something, I just set the V-chip, and when he gets to that screen, it's blank.
Do you know what your kids are watching? And still ahead, London, where it's the talk of the town and the world. Splitsville, officially, for the Royals.
She doesn't care that we make the quietest commercial airplanes on Earth. She doesn't care that our planes have carried billions of people all over the world. She doesn't care that we're already building the planes that will fly her children and their children. Grandma's coming today. Who will bring her? McDonnell Douglas will.
My life is busy. I'm not the hermit crab. I go all over. But MCI Friends and Family's calling card discount only covered my calls to home. So I got AT&T True Reach Savings. It's the only way I can save 25% on every type of call on my AT&T phone bill, no matter who I call in the U.S.
AT&T True Reach Savings. Save 25% when you spend just $25 a month.
I never stop. Why should my savings?
AT&T True Reach Savings. That's your true choice. AT&T.
Hey, you okay? It's 3 o'clock.
I can't believe this heartburn. You and your Let's Go Mexican tonight.
You didn't take the Pepsid AC before you ate, did you?
Pepsid AC?
Yeah. Could have stopped your heartburn before it even started.
Oh, so I could actually be sleeping right now.
We could be sleeping.
Wait.
Take one now, it controls acid all night long.
Oh, all night?
Mm-hmm. Water?
You're so good to me.
You can sleep heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
The United States tonight squeezing Cuba with more punishment for shooting down those 2 light planes this past weekend. The White House and Congress agreeing today on a bill to further squeeze Castro's economy. It would make Cuba less attractive to foreign investors, and it would add more teeth to the existing embargo. And tonight, a surprise announcement from the FBI saying that the Cuban pilot who defected back to Cuba, in fact, for a time, was an FBI informant, paid more than $6,000. On Health Watch tonight, a risk most patients would never dream of. A doctor who infects patients during surgery. And this is a story about a doctor who did everything by the rules, and he still gave patients hepatitis B. Here's NBC's Robert Bazell.
The major outbreak of hepatitis B occurred here at UCLA, one of the world's best medical centers, also at the nearby Veterans Administration Hospital. Hepatitis B, a virus spread by blood or through sexual contact, causes severe liver damage and sometimes death. In 1991 and 92, a cardiac surgeon infected with the virus unknowingly infected 19 of his patients. The unidentified doctor has stopped practicing surgery, but the case raises troubling questions.
This is essentially a preventable infection. This shouldn't happen again.
But how could it have happened in the first place?
The investigation, led by scientists here at the Centers for Disease Control, found that neither the hospitals nor the surgeon violated infection control guidelines. In other words, the outbreak occurred despite a safety net that was supposed to prevent it.
Dr. Rafael Harpez of the CDC headed the investigation.
When you set out on this investigation, did you think you were going to find a broken glove or something else that would let you know how it happened?
I think I did. Expect to find something specific.
But you didn't find anything?
That's correct.
CDC guidelines say there should be no mandatory testing of surgeons for hepatitis B or for the AIDS virus, but they say surgeons who know they are infected should tell their patients.
Did this doctor tell his patients that he was infectious with hepatitis B?
He did not.
Experts say that despite the guidelines, there is good reason why doctors do not want to tell their patients.
Realistically speaking, any surgeon, I believe, that informs their patients that they are hepatitis B, E antigen positive or HIV positive will probably not be operating on patients.
A vaccine is now available to prevent infection with hepatitis B. Most hospitals now insist that staff members get vaccinated. But that does nothing for the estimated 1,900 surgeons who are already infected with hepatitis B. Most of them were infected by patients' blood during surgery.
If you're really concerned, you can stand up and look your surgeon in the eye and say, well, have you been vaccinated? And of course, if the surgeon says that they haven't been, then you might want to have a conversation about that.
The CDC says that the risk of a surgeon infecting patients with hepatitis B is very small. But this case proves that the precautions now in place do not entirely eliminate the danger. Robert Bazell, NBC News, Atlanta.
There's a new $100 bill coming out, and there are big costs associated with it. This bill has special features to prevent high-tech counterfeiting. The Treasury Department says it will spend $32 million on a worldwide advertising campaign to teach bankers and consumers about the new bill. It will also reassure them the old 100s still are valid. And who's got the most $100 bills these days? Well, his name is Warren Buffett in this country, and he has just displaced his friend Bill Gates as the richest businessman in the world, with a net worth of $16.6 billion. Where does all that money come from? From stock in Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway. He owns 479,000 shares. Their value rose 56% last year. The closing price per share today, $35,600. That's right, per share. As for the rest of Wall Street today, the Dow was down in very heavy trading. The NASDAQ today was up slightly. When we come back, NBC News in depth tonight on the eve of a White House summit on television violence. What's the TV industry ready to do to make it more kid-friendly?
I don't have one reason you should try Citracel fiber therapy. I have hundreds. Letters that state, our doctor has recommended that I take Citracel. And I just changed from Metamucil to Citracel. Citracel is different. Other powdered bulk fibers are made with psyllium, which can cause gas. Citracel is as effective without producing excess gas. Thank you for Citracel. I've been a loyal user for years. Try Citracel, effective relief without the gas.
Important news from Cardism CD.
Ready for our walk?
Yes. Where did this come from?
Oh, that's the Cardisense newsletter. It's free with my Cardism CD prescription.
This article on walking is really interesting.
Yeah, we're exercising more and eating better.
Ask your doctor about Cardism CD and the Cardisense newsletter and call 1-800-532-4411 for one free copy of Cardisense. Cardism CD and Cardisense.
Did you see him play? 13 shots. Hey, basketball. Better things to do. My lunch is missing. So he's like blonde, plays charity, but he's a skater. Cookies, yeah. I love science. That thing stunk.
Do you have any classes with him?
I tutor him. Yeah, right.
What's here?
One of these kids will fly to space. One will fly to defend our freedom. One will fly hope to a land where there is none. Who will fly with them? McDonnell Douglas will.
NBC News in depth tonight, the eve of a major summit at the White House and also in Capitol Hill. 36 top television executives, summoned by the president and congressional leaders, will offer to work up their own rating system on violence in programs. This is an issue that's gotten a lot of attention recently. What's the television industry prepared to do about all of this? We begin our in-depth reporting tonight with NBC's Robert Hager.
Kick it up. Kick it up on your teeth.
It's a major development. After years of strongly opposing a formal system of ratings for the content of their programs, tomorrow executives of NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox will join cable and others in the TV industry in telling President Clinton and Congress they're now ready to work on one and aim to have it ready by the 1st of next year. Congressman Ed Markey.
I think that as of the end of this week, a new era is about to dawn.
NBC News has learned the TV industry will agree to appoint Jack Valenti, head of the Motion Picture Association, to lead a large working group to develop voluntary ratings, similar to what Hollywood uses on its movies, G, PG, PG-13, and R. But for TV, the job of reviewing programs would be daunting. While Hollywood rates 650 movies a year, just one TV channel alone broadcasts 7 times as much material in the same period.
But the networks will not agree to endorse the tiny V chip or violence chip the president's been pushing. The law requires it to be in all new TVs within 2 years and combined with a small remote like this. The chip would allow parents to preset their televisions to block objectionable programs, but only if broadcasters agreed one day to encode programs with the ratings they're now promising to develop.
The V chip is actually being used experimentally in Canada. Some families in Edmonton used it first last winter, but said it was way too complicated then. New trials of a simpler system in Toronto and Ottawa have been more successful. 3/4 of the families who participate say they've been satisfied. Maxine Lawson and her 2.5-year-old son, Caden.
If I don't want him to watch something, I just set the V-chip, and when he gets to that screen, it's blank.
In the Canadian trials, employees at each station rate the programs on a scale of 1 to 5.
Being very active as far as in the violence area.
I would still call it restricted.
These program raters working at CFMT TV in Toronto admit they're in an awkward position. Their ratings decisions can hurt viewership and therefore their own business.
We have to make sure that we continue to appease our audiences and give them what they want.
In America, the producer of the NBC program Law and Order, Dick Wolf.
I think that people are going to wake up in about 5 or 6 years and realizing that there's nothing on television that is challenging or interesting or adult-oriented if this thing really goes through.
One reason American broadcasters are reluctant to endorse the V-chip until they see if they can agree on details of a rating system and be certain the U.S. government doesn't reject it for a tougher system.
And it is turning the American living room over to Big Brother.
A scenario both government and broadcasters hope to avoid as they struggle to balance the rights of the communications industry and parents across the country. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
So what's it like to be the one who decides what rating a show gets? Margot Wilson works at television station KVOS in Bellingham, Washington, right on the Canadian border. 2/3 of her station's viewers are Canadian, and the station has agreed to implement the V-chip system for them, and she will actually help rate the programs. Here's her take on all of this tonight in her own words.
I think ratings are the responsibility of the broadcaster. It's our business. We know it well. We deal with these programs every day. The view rating test that KVOS is experimenting with now is based partly on a system that's like the Motion Picture Association of America's movie rating standards for theatrical films that we're all familiar with, PG, R, and so forth. It's divided into 4 categories by content, language, violence, and sexuality. And then there are degrees of, I guess we could call it intensity, in each of those categories. Aladdin's a popular children's show on our air. We rated it a 1,000. 1 meaning a general audience, and then zeros for violence, language, and sexuality. There is none in Aladdin. Here's how I rated Baywatch. 2, 2, 0, 1. 2 for PG, 2 for mild violence, 0 for language, and 1 for mature themes. I don't think this is censorship. It's giving our viewers ample information and using the technology so then they can make responsible, informed choices for themselves as individuals or for their households.
Margot Wilson of KVOS TV in Bellingham, Washington tonight in her own words on television ratings. When we come back, the fleecing of America. Guess how much the Pentagon wastes on moving and transportation costs. You'll be surprised your tax dollars are paying for it.
What's got Dion acting so sweet?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you trying to catch this?
It could only be new Honey Frosted Wheaties. The new Frosted Flake that's kicked with Wheaties energy for a primetime taste.
Can I get anyone a beverage?
New Honey Frosted Wheaties. It's sweet energy.
Hey, Junior, you like the crunch, right? Right. Then you gotta try Crispy Wheaties and Raisins. A raisin cereal with a big crunch. I love the crunch. Ah! Offside!
Come crunch time, there's only one. New from Wheaties. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
All right, we're going low-fat, fresh turkey, lettuce, tomato on wheat. What? No Best Foods?
Now you can eat low-fat and still have great taste with Best Foods low-fat mayonnaise dressing. It tastes so delicious you won't believe it has only 1 gram of fat.
What? No Best Foods?
Best Foods low-fat mayonnaise dressing.
Bring out the best foods and bring out the best.
When I was young, you and Mom made sure I ate right.
Well, you were my little girl.
Well, today we're listening to our doctors and taking better care of our health with Ensure.
Ensure is recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete, balanced nutrition.
More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure has all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, be energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal.
Or in between. Ensure. To your health, Dad.
To our health.
Ensure, recommended #1 by doctors.
She doesn't care that we make the quietest commercial airplanes on Earth. She doesn't care that our planes have carried billions of people all over the world. She doesn't care that we're already building the planes that will fly her children and their children. Grandma's coming today. Who will bring her? McDonnell Douglas will.
Tomorrow on Today, Lisa Kudrow has Matt Lauer right where she wants him.
But are we friends again from this?
I don't know. I have to think about it. There's more tomorrow on Today.
Prophets say we're destined for chaos, but can we control our destiny?
The choice is ultimately ours.
New visions of the future, NBC tonight.
Now for our regular Wednesday look at how your tax dollars are often being misspent, what we call the fleecing of America. Tonight, a case from the Pentagon. Proof that the new military still has some of the same old bad habits. Here's NBC's Bob Kerr.
As everyone knows, moving is a nightmare. But when the Pentagon makes a move, critics say, it's the taxpayer's worst nightmare, a fleecing worth hundreds of millions of dollars. David Warren led a team of investigators from the General Accounting Office.
The system is inefficient. You have multiple organizations, processes that are fragmented, resulting in a higher cost transportation than is necessary.
When the armed forces move supplies, they often hire commercial shippers to get food, shelter, and clothing to the troops in Bosnia, or goods to PXs and commissaries around the world. The waste comes because the management by the military amounts to a tangle of redundancy and red tape. The General Accounting Office's recent report says taxpayers frequently pay prices for transportation services that are double or triple the cost of basic transportation. Here's how it works. Let's say the Army needs to move a cargo container from an East Coast port to Europe. For the military, the cost, more than $3,000. Ordinary commercial shipper fees for the same container, about half that, $1,500. The difference, 112%. But what if the military wants to ship a container across the Pacific, say from a West Coast port to Korea? An even bigger waste. It would cost the military $3,800. That's $2,500 more than it would cost a civilian shipper. The difference, 198%. Here at the Pentagon and in Congress, they've been aware of the problem for more than 20 years. No shortage of proposals to consolidate, to realign, to cut personnel. But in almost every case, someone said no.
Everything gets caught in turf protecting, every service wanting their own piece of the pie. And then you have, of course, members of Congress who are out to protect whatever operations they have in their districts.
I spoke by teleconference with a senior defense official who agreed the military overhead costs are high, but defended them, claiming a need to maintain wartime readiness. Still, the Transport Command concedes it has too many people doing the same job. 5 separate units often needed to negotiate a single shipping rate. For its part, the Transport Command, with hundreds of millions of dollars at stake, insists it is beginning to streamline. In the meantime, their system keeps things moving, even as it keeps fleecing America. Bob Kerr, NBC News, Washington.
When we come back, it's official now. The royal fairy tale has reached a legal end. Diana has asked for a divorce.
From Italy, where generations have enjoyed the best of the sea, comes the Olive Garden's Italian Seafood Festival, featuring spicy new shrimp fra diavolo, just $8.95. We saute shrimp, create a sauce of hot red peppers, onions, and garlic, simmered in white wine and spices, and bring them together in a fiery crescendo of Italian flavors. With unlimited free soup or salad and breadsticks. Spicy new shrimp fra diavolo, only at the Olive Garden.
When I want clam chowder, I want the real thing. Nothing wimpy. And now Healthy Choice makes this great clam chowder. Thick, creamy, really chunky, and less than 3 grams of fat. With Healthy Choice chowder, I eat what I like. This is for real.
Welcome to a place where a quiet moment fuels great thoughts, where the coffee stirs the conversation and the steamiest moments are found in a cup. It's not a coffee house. It's a place called home. Introducing Italian Espresso Roast from Maxwell House. Coffee house coffee you can brew in your regular coffee maker. Deep, intense, but not bitter. It's the first coffee house coffee that's good to the last drop.
Bayer, powerful pain relief, and so much more.
You need to diverse.
While everyone else is telling you which funds to buy,
Small cap funds.
I'd be looking at the Pacific Rim.
here's a tip on how to buy them. Mutual Fund One Source from Charles Schwab. The funds you want in one place, all with no loads. If your fund doesn't say this, maybe you're making life too complicated. Call now for 6 months of our Mutual Fund Select list free.
Dateline Friday, a consumer alert. Are you paying too much for your contact lenses? Chances are the answer is yes. And when you clearly see what's going on, it just might make you see red. Dateline Friday.
Well, now we have to worry about who gets the wedding gift walk, who gets the casserole set. Diana has agreed to get a divorce from Prince Charles, the final blow to the illusion of that Cinderella marriage. Obviously, this is not quite like any other divorce except for this. The two sides already are arguing about the terms. Here's NBC's Keith Miller.
It was called the wedding of the century, but it didn't last that long. Tonight, Princess Diana is in seclusion at her home in Kensington Palace. After keeping the world guessing for months, Diana ended the suspense, agreeing to a divorce she claimed she didn't want. As with any divorce, it comes down to who gets what. Diana is playing hardball with the royal family on the terms of the split. In a statement, she claimed victory. She says she'll be involved in all decisions relating to her two children. She says she'll keep her title, Diana, Princess of Wales, and keep her home and offices in St. James's Palace. But tonight, Buckingham Palace said, not so fast, saying negotiations are not finalized. Also up in the air is the financial settlement, which could cost the
Walters lived so deep in the country that she never saw a doctor until her first year in college.
This week on Oregon Field Guide, we'll take you along as scientists trap harlequin ducks. They're trying to find out where this beautiful but elusive bird goes to nest.
Ready?
Tracking harlequin ducks this week on Oregon Field Guide, Thursday night at 8:30.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Fowler, moderator of OPB's weekly public affairs program, 7 Days. Join me and our panel of journalists as we analyze the issues most important to Oregonians. You'll find thoughtful discussions of the stories behind the headlines, Friday nights at 9 on 7 Days.
Proud to be part of Oregon's history. This is OPB. Funding for local broadcast of the News Hour with Jim Lehrer has been provided by a grant from ODS Health Plans, the group medical plans that meet the needs of Oregonians by providing a broad range of medical and dental coverage and responsive service, and by the Collins Foundation. The Collins Foundation is dedicated to improving the quality of life in Oregon.